Well, I guess that's my cue now. Good evening and welcome to Bedtime Stories on WOSD Radio DB Chicago, WDLB Indianapolis in Chicago, and WRLNradio.com. It is your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. So nice to be with you, as always. Um, Coming up in our last hour, we do a little thing we call foreplay. Not what you think. No, it's something totally different. Four songs by one of your favorite artists or groups, male or female. Female. Um, my voice always changes, you know. That's from laying down, you know. It's from when you lay down and then you get up, and then, you know, my voice is still laying on the couch in the front room. Anyway, um, once again, of course, tonight is not, well, you know, I guess you could say it's like every other night, right? Yeah, it is. It is. But this would have been the, let's see, 65th birthday of Prince Rogers Nelson. So, of course, in foreplay, we're going to be playing music like this from the Purple One. Good evening to Latanya Lynn Garrett. Thanks for checking in to Bedtime Stories on FB Live. Responsibility. That's Hollywood. Boom, boom. I ain't the one. The day Iron Shrug died. All right. Woohoo. Good evening to you too, Troy. As always, Troy, the minister of misinformation. Of misinformation. All right, go for it, Troy. Go for it. Starlet, what's going on? Where is the Prince music? Here it is. And there it is. And now it's gone. Yeah. You know, once again, if we play the music too loud, then Facebook cuts us off. So we have to keep it down really low. So if you're watching me on one thing, you have to listen to the music on another thing. In other words, of course, you can watch me here on whatever you're watching me on now. And then, you know, Bluetooth it to your PC, tablet, or whatever. And that way you'll be able to listen to the music as well. So, yeah. You need glasses. Sheik, not Shrek. And he did die today. Why, thank you. Shrek, Sheik, I don't know. I like both of those guys. Yeah. So there you go, Starlet. Yeah. Yeah, they tend to want to cut me off, you know, whenever I'm, you know, playing music, as they do with everybody else. No matter what disclaimer you put up there, you know, we do not own the rights to this music, this, that, and the other, da, 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 da. They'll still cut us off. So, yep, they will still cut us off. So, and as a matter of fact, Troy, I do wear glasses. I just don't need them to see the screen. The screen is like right there. so I don't have to go far to see it. But anyway, good to see you all. Thank you so much. Don't forget to um, go ahead and share the page if you're on it. I would really appreciate that. Um, that would tickle me immensely. So just go ahead and share the page with your good friends so that everybody can hear me mess up tonight. Troy would like that for me to mess up. So and of course someone's calling during the show. Candy Bear. Oh, okay. Hoo-ha! Dinner time. And not a moment too soon. Anyway, let's get this show on the road. A little traveling music, if you will. I am the one. Good evening, Miss Ingram. How are you? Long time no see. I see you're not spending a lot of time on Facebook these days. I understand. But thank you so much for being on my live. I appreciate you. And don't forget to share the page with your thousands of friends. Yes, it is. Mm. He would have been what, 65 today? He's too old, 2 years older than me, so he would have been 65. Yeah. Well, taking care of health and personal issues. I know that's right. I understand. Well, we're glad to have you on, Miss Ingram. It's been a long time since I've seen you. Been a long time. You shouldn't have left me without a dope beat to step. Anyway, you know, rapping is not my forte, so you know, music is my forte. I'm doing well. Doing well. About a month ago, I had cellulitis. Don't ask me how I got it, but my eye closed up, my neck was swollen, had an awful headache. I was weak and dizzy. And they sent me home with antibiotics, told me to take some Tylenol and to put some ice on my eye. I looked like I'd been in a fight. Yeah. But otherwise, I feel much better now. Yep. Antibiotics and Tylenol and yeah, and prayer. Like, yeah. What are you eating? It must be a good sandwich. Actually, it's a steak sandwich from last night. My sister and I go on our hoagie run. So, we get steak sandwiches and we get hoagies. So I got one of each. So, what's up, Lady G? Ronnie, what's going on? And thank you, Ronnie. Thank you, Ronnie. What are you thanking me for? Thank you, Ronnie. Prince Rogers Nelson and Slow Love. Right here on Bedtime Stories with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Alfred. He would have been 65 today. So throughout the night, we're just going to play, some Prince because, it's just impossible to play four songs and just, all the Prince fans just be satisfied, right? I tried that last night on the other show. It was like, man, you didn't play, I'm like, okay. But real Prince lovers know songs that are not the norm. Everybody plays Soft and Wet and I Want to Be Your Lover, but we're going to play some of the songs that the other radio stations didn't play or won't play because they don't know anything about it. They're not Prince fans, true Prince fans, like true Prince fans know that this guy played with Prince for a while and was Prince's inspiration to play the bass. Here's Larry Graham, Just Be My Lady, the first of two in a row right here on Bedtime Stories. Hello to Miss Ingram, to Ronnie, and to Lady G on Bedtime Stories. Lady, yeah. Mm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Wish I could order another one of these. They don't deliver. Plus, they're probably closed by now. They do a lot of great business because every time I walk up there, it's like people standing outside. It's like, wow. And that's one thing. Never go to a restaurant where there's nobody in there. That's a surefire way to know that the food is no good. Don't go in there. In purple, peace and power. Say that over. Yeah, no, Ronnie said I'm not allowed to order food because I always get it wrong. she had me strung out on these foot long corned beef sandwiches, right? And I thought I would just go there and get it myself, right? Unfortunately, I didn't know what to ask for. I said, yes, I'd like a foot long corned beef sandwich. And that's what they gave me. They gave me a foot long corned beef sandwich. That sandwich was dry as hell. I was like, this is not the sandwich I had the other night that Ronnie ordered. I was a little upset. Needless to say, I'm like, okay. I'm like, why? No order for you? No, no order for me. And I was very disappointed. Very disappointed. I'm like, it wasn't hot. It wasn't nothing. And of course, Ronnie told me, you don't know how to order it. I'm like, oh. I'm thinking that all the sandwiches were hot like that. You know, like when you go to AP Deli, the sandwich is always hot. You know, they put a mountain of meat on it and they give you two little pieces of bread. It's supposed to suffice, right? And the meat is falling off, you know, falling out the bread and everything else. And that's just it. It's like I didn't get it right. So, needless to say, I never went back to Mr. Submarine to get another, you know, another corned beef sandwich because I just didn't know how to order it. So like a little kid, you cannot order your own food. Yeah. So that's it. That's it. That's all. No more. No more order for you. And that's it. I'll never try that again. So, and I'm wasting food on my shirt. One of my only clean dress shirts that I have until I go to the cleaners tomorrow and pick up my clothes, right? hmm Now, the steak sandwiches, they're cooked. They're already hot, you know, and juicy. As a matter of fact, yesterday a couple of people came back because their sandwiches were dripping all over the place. Can I get a plastic bag? I mean, they were actually up. They were actually upset. You know, you couldn't much blame them. You know, the secret to making the hoagie is the oil that they put on there. And once they put that oil on there, the bread is soaked. The bread is soaked. We went to the one over on 82nd and Halsted. Yep. And of course, you always have to stand outside because, you know, their store or the front of the store is no bigger than my bathroom. But the back in the store, back of the store where they, you know, fix the sandwiches, it's huge. Now it's just the opposite. If you go to the one in Dalton, that sucker is huge. You could camp out in the front room or the front of the store. It's nice and roomy and everything. You got parking, but the one on Halsted, you have to park across the street in the gas station because most of the time, it's just packed. No, not tourists. It's called the Hoagie Place. Now, when I was a kid, there was a Taurus Flavors on 79th Street, right between Euclid and Jeffrey. There was Taurus Flavors or Charlie's Blade and Spade is what they call it. And my father was friends with the guy who owned it. So, and of course, we ended up losing that, You know how it is. Grand opening, grand closing, Us folks can't keep nothing. Turn around from the great Larry Graham. One in a million you, right here on Bedtime Stories with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Once again, hello to Ronnie, Lady G, and Miss Ingram. Where did Miss Ingram go? Wait a minute. Oh, there she is. All right. Thank you, sweetheart. I really appreciate you being on my live, as always. And hopefully you guys had a great day at work or not at work, whichever, My sister, she's so funny. She said she was going to take the day off. I'm like, take the day off? You work from home. She said, yeah, I played hooky. You played hooky. In other words, you just didn't put your headset on for that day. I said, you're just so lucky and you're just so spoiled. You don't have to drive to work. You don't have to drive anywhere. Mom drives you everywhere because you don't drive. And I told her yesterday, I said, Angie, you're going to have to learn how to drive. Of course, she changed the subject, of course, But anyway, they were asking me what I was eating for dinner. I had a steak sandwich from the Hoagie Place. Now, growing up, there was a Charlie's Blade and Spade or Taurus around the house on 79th between Euclid and Jeffrey. And then there was another one over on Stony Island, which closed a couple of years ago. I don't know what happened. There was this lady in there who used to call out the orders. And she was such a nice lady. Her name was Queen Esther, I think it was. And somebody came in there and shot her. I heard it on the news. I was like, why? She was just so nice, But anyway, they ended up closing that one down over on Stony Island. They were doing great, great business. But unfortunately, couldn't keep it up. Anyway, of course, I don't have that problem. Anyway, it's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. This is Bedtime Stories, show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed and never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. It is the Reverend Al Green. It's simply beautiful. You say you call off too. What is this calling off? I'm like, what do you do when you call off? You call them and say, I'm not going online today. I don't get it. You call off and what? You just go upstairs? Well, because she's got the whole basement to herself, right? So she got it all, kind of like my layout, which is why I could never live over there with her. So, because I would want the basement. You know, they're trying to put me in grandma's room, and it's like I'm not sleeping in there. Kind of creep me out, you know. Stay in the bed or run errands. I did it for tomorrow for my hair appointment. Oh, okay. But that's just it. Sometimes um, I'll be watching Rick Party on Instagram, and I know he's not at the station because there's no logos and stuff behind him. I try to make it look like I'm actually at the radio station. Where I'm actually in my own studio, and I got beat up for that one time. It's like, oh, you're at home. Oh, we're trying to give them the illusion that you know we're actually at a radio station. I'm like, no, you're trying to give them the illusion. I'm like, I'm keeping it real. We don't have a station no more. It's still over there on 79th Street. I'd be surprised to see, you know, how much stuff I've left over there. A whole television, everything. But anyway, uh, oh, I have a Father's Day gift for you. Why, thank you. Thank you, Lady G. I really appreciate that. But back to the work at home thing. A lot of people had that during the pandemic. They had the option to come into the office or to stay at home and do their work from there. A lot of people didn't go back to work. They got too comfortable. They didn't have to dress up, shower, nothing. They sit there musty as hell, sit in your chair, put your headset on, turn your computers on and everything else, and just sit there and stew in your own juices all day and decide, oh, maybe I should get up and take a shower. What for? You've been sitting 7 or 8 hours stewing in your own juices. Why take a shower now? Oh, you want to leave the house. Well, back then in 2020, it was a pandemic. Nobody left the house unless they really had to. You know, everybody was grub hubbing it up. I swear. Yes. And they shut the office down because of that. Yeah. I could imagine. I could only imagine. And the only thing is, we still went to work. We were what they call essential employees because if something broke out, we had to, of course, broadcast it on the radio. Yeah, DoorDash, Grubhub, Amazon, everything. Cynthia says, "Hey, Cynthia, the one that got away. I work from home 3 days a week, and I take showers and put on clothes and sit in front of my." Cynthia does the whole thing like she's going to work. You know, take a shower, put your clothes on, sit in front of the computer. I would roll out of bed, come back here to the studio, and log on and do whatever. I would not. I'd be as funky as I wanted to be. Funkier than George Clinton after a concert. I would just be, I'd be like, ooh, I should brush my teeth. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. It just gives you a license to be lazy, you know? I'm just saying. A license for laziness. I was smack dab in the middle of the COVID working at the hospital. I remember, yeah. I dropped you off a couple of times at the hospital. It was like, that is not safe. You know, Lady G was taking pictures, right? And she had like the movies. She had the hazmat suit on and the shield and everything else. I'm like, ooh, that is scary. I mean, that was like at the height. That was like March 2020. She was still working at the hospital, and they had a ward in the hospital where they had you had cancer patients on one side, you had COVID patients on the other. Never the two shall mix. Even though I have leggings on, but I put on a nice top, like they do, like they do Zoom calls. Yeah. Ronnie says I get dressed, but not work attire. Preston says, AG. Hey, Preston, what's going on? I can only imagine that, Cynthia, with your legs, with some leggings on. I'm sorry. My mind went south. I'm sorry. I just, it's your legs. You know, it's the legs. Let me stop before I say something inappropriate. I know. You don't have to remind me every time, Cynthia. Okay, I had my chance. Okay, I get it. Jeez. Cynthia will come to the club, play my song. Okay, I'll play a song, which is Glenn Jones. And it's like, I say, okay, for the one that got away, here's Glenn Jones. Heat Wave. Sure enough, must be love. Right here on Bedtime Stories. It must be love because not getting paid a lot of money for it. Anyway, it's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. I know I had my chance with you, Cynthia, and I blew it. Okay, I understand. And at that time, I wasn't even married, was I? I hadn't even, married the first one yet, had I? Oh, I really blew it, didn't I? Anyways, your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Don't forget to join us on Juneteenth, June 17th. We'll be at the Avalon Regal Theater over on 79th and Stony Island from noon until they kick us out of the parking lot of the Avalon Regal Theater. Of course, we'll be broadcasting live. I'll probably be by myself because my coworkers, they refuse to go back to 79th Street. A lot of people that know me, they remember I had my studio over on 79th Street. I had an old radio station over on 79th Street. Some of that stuff is still in there too. I'm like really upset. It's been years, at least 6 years or more, because I remember my granddaughter was a baby at the time, and I used to babysit her, and I would drop her off at the daycare center, and I would go to my office and take a nap, right? No, I would go to my office and just go to sleep. It wasn't a nap. I would sleep most of the day because I was, a little depressed there. And I'd get up and go get my granddaughter and bring her back to the studio and, watch TV with her, feed her, that whole thing, I guess she remembered that. She's about to be 7 now. I hope she remembers it. Anyway, yeah, I'm unforgettable pawpaw, right? Here's Tina Marie out on a limb on Bedtime Stories. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Hello to Cynthia Bean, one that got away on Bedtime Stories. Yeah. Cynthia, after a while, she's going to say, I still have her sippy bottles. I could use them now. I could use those. Thank you. Yeah. Of course, she just drinks out of a regular cup now. She don't have sippy bottles. Now, her little brother does, so I could use that for him. So I had to come get those. Yeah. Yep. Well, they're still here. All right. So whenever I'm not working, whenever that is, right, I'll come get to my granddaughter's sippy cups or sippy bottles, whichever. Yep, yep. I'm sure they're nice and clean. They've been sitting there for a few years. Dang, how long has it been since I was at the Montclair? The Montclair. It has been about 6 years because she's 6 years old. So, yep. She wasn't walking yet. I was carrying her everywhere, everywhere. 2018. Hello. Yeah, I took her everywhere I went. I had this van, right, and I had the van. I had my own um, car seat and everything. So I was ready. I had my own bag, and that bag is probably still sitting over there on 79th Street, full of stuff, you know. But yep. Um, Maybe I'll make you some salmon patties. That would be nice. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Um, got a chance to see my granddaughter on Sunday. They had friends and family day at her nana's church. So my daughter invited me. So of course I went. Whenever my daughter invites me somewhere, I go. At least I try to if I'm not working. So so as soon as she saw me, my granddaughter, she started getting a little sleepy. I said, okay, you want to take a nap? Okay. So she laid on my lap and went to sleep, just like old times, right? You know, and I was sitting next to her great grandmother, and I said, yeah, this has been going on for a while. She sees Pawpaw, she's relaxed, she wants to lay up under Pawpaw, which I don't mind at all. I don't mind at all. I just wish they could all stay little like that. You know, I just wish they all could stay little. You know, but you know, my oldest daughter will be. I'm not even gonna say how old she'll be. But I will say this: she's been alive as long as I've been in radio. So there you go. Because my first radio gig was out in Gary around the time she was born, and that was it. So that was 40 years ago. I started out at WLTH in Gary, and before that I was on KKC, but I wasn't getting paid. So, but yep, never thought I'd be a grandpa. Well, I thought one day I'd be a grandpa, but not when I was younger. I wasn't thinking about that. I was just thinking about girls. My dad used to always say, "We have nothing in common. All you do is talk about records and girls." Oh, well, thanks. It was you that bought my first record player for me, Dad, and of course, you married Mom, who is a girl. So I guess we could, kind of have something to talk about, right? No, yeah. And every time I would come over the house, right, you see my parents. My dad would ask about one of his grandchildren. Um, Where's my grandson? He's at home. Oh, he turned his head like, We won't see you. Where's Larice? She's at home. Oh, sorry. He didn't want to see me. He wanted to see his grandchildren, whom he was very fond of. Greer. Name that tune. Mm-mm. Cynthia Bean. I just thought of something really funny, Cynthia. Remember my first wife? Sure you do. She said the only reason Cynthia cut her hair is because mine is short. No. AG, Keith played Frankie Carl on his show tonight. I was shocked. Bruno Mars easily remade that song. I know, right? And there's the old saying, there's nothing new under the sun. Yeah. It's always, it's always a remake of a song that was popular back in the day. Always. And it turns out to be a hit. Now the song that Bruno Mars and his buddy did, what's his name? Anderson Pop Shakur. Love's Train by Confunction was never a single. Yep. It was never a single, which is interesting. It was just something, it was an album cut. It was just something we played off of the album. And when they remade it, it became a hit, a crossover hit. And I had a conversation with Michael Cooper of Confunction. He said, "Yeah, that song grew legs," and he said, "Can you believe it? We made that song almost 40 years ago." I said, "Whoa, wow." I said, "Yeah, I remember. I had the album. I bought the album from Metro Music with the orange, brown, and yellow paneling. Remember Metro Music? There was one on 87th right off of Stony, and then there was one on 103rd. And yeah, Calumet, I think it was. So I could not wait. And I'm sure a lot of you all, feel my sentiment. You feel what I'm about to say. I couldn't wait to bust the plastic open and put that album on the turntable. It was just something about it. It'd be like a clean copy. It would stay clean for for a while. And after that, it's like, yeah, after the newness wears off, you just either leave it on the turntable or just throw it in the stack. But it's like, it was just something about it when you first bust that plastic and the album is just clean. And you drop that needle on there and it's like no noise. And sometimes it'd be like a little warp. So it would the needle would ride the records, See, these young folks will never experience that. It's like, oh, I got that download. Like, it's not the same. You go to the website and you download the music. It's not the same as busting the plastic open, reading the liner notes, who played on it, where they recorded it, that whole thing, who wrote all the songs. They'll never know that, which is probably why I got nostalgic and bought an 8-track player. Now remember why 8-tracks weren't so popular. Yeah, cut off on my favorite song. And Isaac Hayes didn't have a chance. All his songs were like 9, 10 minutes long. you know, yeah, that new record feel, like new car smell, new record. You know, for Cynthia Bean, that is At Last from Glenn Jones right here on Bedtime Stories with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. This is the show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. We're talking about, as always, something old, old school. And I was saying, hey, Luana, I was saying that I couldn't wait to get home and open my album. I remember going to Metro Music a couple of times. And this one particular time, the album that I bought there was the Honey album by the Ohio Players, which had the single or the track Sweet Sticky Thing. Well, on the 45, Sweet Sticky Thing was only 3.5 minutes. But on the album, oh, the whole thing. Oh my God. These millennials will never understand what joy we had busting the plastic open, pulling it out the sleeve, and putting it on the turntable. They won't understand that ever. Never, ever will they understand that. I mean, that was a wonderful thing. You could play the album and sit back and read the liner notes, see who played on the album, see where it was made. That's how I became, musicologist, because I remembered everything that I ever read on these album covers. So, which makes me a pretty good interviewer, whenever I talk to these people. Oh, that was made at the Automat in San Francisco, correct? They're like, yeah, you remember that? I said, sometimes they don't even remember. Anyway, it's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer, going down memory lane. Here's a song that was performed on The Tonight Show. It was also the theme song of a popular ABC TV show with the same name, Finders of Lost Loves. There was two versions. One included Luther Vandross along with Dionne Warwick, and this one, Dionne and Glenn Jones. Yeah. That's right, a penny or a quarter, or sometimes a nickel would do. Open. Love you like you. Yep, if there was a skip or a crack in the record and you wanted to keep that record, I'm like, I'm not throwing this record away, and I'm not going to buy it again either. Put put a nickel or a dime on there, and they just ride right over that crack, boy. Of course, we didn't know we were damaging the needle at the time. The crack would go, and it would chip away that diamond. Whew. Those were the days, y'all. Come on, Glenn. Come on, Glenn. Bring it on. Up your heart. Gotta know. Come again. Woo! Alcohol cotton to smooth out the scratches. Woo! Yes. Woo, boy. Or go to Radio Shack. They had the record cleaner. I'm like, oh, why is this so expensive? It was nothing but alcohol, right? Then somebody said, hey, alcohol dries the vinyl out. So use Windex. Because what is it? Vinyl. Vinyl, Windex cleans vinyl. I'm like, oh. And it did, Windex. But of course, the records would smell nasty. Because if the label got wet, that was it. Yeah, and they're probably still in that building over there on Ellis, right? Yep, Windex keeps them clean. Come on, Glenn.
It's the show designed with the lovers in mind. Bedtime stories with Al Greer.
Has anyone else heard the song Freak Me by a new group called Silk? These guys are definitely here to stay and in no way will end up a one-hit wonder. That's exactly what they ended up being. Freak me, baby. Freak me, baby. Mm-mm. Freak me, baby. Freak me, baby. It's going fine, Dr. G. Thank you so much for joining me on my Facebook Live. I'm sorry, Twitch. Yeah. That whole building has been rehabbed, so whatever I left behind is gone. I thought it was still boarded up. They had those big things, that said dogs. So sounds like thunder out there. I got to watch Unsung on Silk. I know, right? What's your favorite color? That's a good question. Blue. Blue. Yeah. Only because somebody told me black wasn't a color. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I have to pick another one, and that's blue. So, are you sure you have a spare 4 minutes for them to cover your entire career? For you to cover their entire career? I know, right? Black isn't a color. Now, well, that's what they told me when I was a kid. They said black is not a color; it's a contrast. What did I know, right? What did I know? I was a kid. I like black, everything black. Used to have a bunch of black suits in the closet, black pinstripe, black double breasted, black single-breasted, black with a vest, three-piece black, you know, uh, black with a wing collar, black with a regular collar. Yeah, yeah. Black or purple. Yeah, purple I like too. You know, yeah, purple was cool too. Well, it was good enough for Prince. Purple, of course, is royalty. Good evening, Miss Hill. And black is slimming too. How old am I? I'm 63 years old. 63. Produced by the late great Van McCoy. That is the late great Davis Eli Ruffin. Statue of a Fool from 1975, right here on Bedtime Stories. The show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed, but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. Bedtime Stories is sponsored by our good friends over at Grubhub. Mm-mm. What made me start streaming on Twitch? My good friend Maurice Ice Culpepper. He suggested that I do Twitch. And I agreed with him. Like, thank you. Grubhub is a proud sponsor of Bedtime Stories here on WOSD Radio DB Chicago, WDLB Indianapolis in Chicago, and Atlanta and all other places. And of course, WRLNradio.com, which stands for Rayford Leonard Neal. I bet you he'll call me now. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Dr. G asked me, how old am I? I guess I'm too old to be broadcasting on Twitch. You have to be like a teenager or a young adult. But I will be 63 this year. So, yep. And that's it. Some people say I don't look my age, and then others say, you look old. Dr. G said, I just graduated high school. Any advice? Yeah, go to college. Stay in school for as long as you can, because otherwise your parents kick you out and tell you to go find a job. They say either you're going to get a job or you're going to stay in school. So stay in school, because then you'll never have to leave. So, oh, well, I have to go back to school, Dad. I haven't finished my doctorate yet. That's right. Stay in school forever and never have to leave the house. Here's the first of two in a row from the Whispers. This is Chocolate Girl on Bedtime Stories. Mm-hmm. True. Be right back. Got to go check on something. I'm back. Queen, if you're supposedly playing the greatest love songs of all time, why haven't I heard Tube Snake Boogie by ZZ Top? You're funny, Troy. I tell you, he's funny. There's a funny guy there. Never on this show. Tube, Tube Snake Boogie. Yeah. He's so funny. I tell you, you're a funny guy. Yeah. You're funny. Hey, tell me a joke here. Are you going my way? Do, 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 do. Hey, hey, hey. I think I know her. Yeah, I still got something up there. Something's brewing. I just graduated from high school. If I had taken my own advice, I'd probably still be in the house. Uh, I'd still be in the house. Of course, the chimney fell through the house, but I'd still be in it, right? Bang. You know, I noticed something. My middle finger fingernails grow longer than the rest of them. Is that unusual, or I'm not just unusual? Denver won again. Oh no, not the Denver Nuggets. Oh no. Who was the team they were playing against? Denver Nuggets and what? I don't recall. Well, congratulations, Denver Nuggets. Pleases me. Oh, Miami Heat. Okay. Now, what is this about? I heard a rumor, but of course, it was printed, right? So it's not really a rumor if it's printed. LeBron wants to quit the Lakers. Do they turn you on now? Do they? Do they? Mm. Do they turn you on now? Do they? Yeah, it's a lot of food. That's a lot of food, Scotty. Yeah, breakfast, lunch, and dinner in bed. Is it one at a time, or it's like, okay, here's your egg, sausage, and grits, and pancakes. Here's your sandwiches for lunch, and of course, here's your steak and lobster with mashed potatoes and green beans for dinner. Like, 3 or 4 plates, and it's like, me, I would spoil a woman like that. I would just, I can't cook, but I'd be ordering stuff, I'd be like, Grubhub, yeah, send me breakfast, lunch, and dinner so that I could serve it to her in bed. Hmm. That's right. Anyway, do we have to start a Zelle GoFundMe for you? That would be nice. Yes. My Zelle is my phone number. Yeah, hey, I ain't too proud to beg, David Ruffin. So, I'm never too proud to beg. And like I always say, if I get to a certain amount, I start giving out money, which is why they shut off my Cash App because I guess I was giving out too much money, right? They're like, oh, this guy must be a pimp or something. Anyway, it's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. And this song came out when I was, I think, in grammar school or high school. Yeah, I think it was. From a group from right here in Chicago. Because I remember watching them on Soul Train. So it must have been like 73 or so. Brighter Side of Darkness. This is Love Jones on Bedtime Stories. Here you go with this Bill Lampier garbage again. Don't nobody remember Bill Lampier. He wants to retire. To be honest, LeBron is a sore loser and a whole diva to me every time he loses. Shake my head, sad. Um, Lady G says not that kind of breakfast, bro. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, breakfast sausage. Breakfast sausage. Would you like some breakfast sausage, dear? Mm-mm. Would you mind if I feed you this breakfast sausage? Anyway, to stop me from singing. Oh, if that's the case, you ain't said nothing. I'm gonna sing on every song now. Shoot. Mm-mm. To stop me from singing? Good Lord. If that's the case, I could pay my rent for the rest of the year. I'm gonna sing on every song. I swear. Anyway, once again, Ronnie, thanks for the hookup. Uh, you know, yeah, thanks for the hookup. But back to LeBron. Huh, I know the breakfast sausage, yes, yes. And it's not pork. Anyway, what was I saying? LeBron. I'm sorry, LeBron is just, they give him too much credit. It's like he's one of the Sopranos, and you know which character I'm talking about. It ain't Christopher. It ain't Paulie. It's not Tony. It's yeah. He's just a big. I'm sorry. Every time things don't go his way, "Ooh," you know, he wants to break it off from the Lakers. I'm like, finish. Finish, retire, and then sit your ugly ass down somewhere. It's like, you know. But it's something that Chris Rock said in one of his comedy acts. He said, "Money make you look good." He's like look at me, because Chris Rock back in the day, he had rotten teeth, and that just wasn't for the movie. He just, they just cast him because they didn't have to put any makeup on him, no false teeth. His teeth were already yellow and big, and then he got his grill fixed. But he admitted, he's like, money make you look good. I'm like, yeah, wish I had. Yeah, that one. Yeah, that character. Yeah, LeBron Big James. It's like always complaining and crying and like, dang, he's a big he's so overrated. He broke Jabbar's record. Okay, all right. I'm not Queen James. That's right. I'm just not impressed with him. I don't know why. In my mind, Michael Jordan is the greatest. That's it. You know, and this stuff that Scottie Pippen is talking, I'm like, Scotty, what happened? You got kicked out of a party at Mike's house or something? He's been, you know, he's been sour grapes ever since. Hell, Michael got a movie. They ain't gonna be no Scottie Pippen movie. Air. No. Scotty's movie's gonna be ass. Not air, but ass. And LeBron's is gonna be like, they got a LeBron movie, okay. But I just don't get it. You know. He's certainly no Ty Cobb, Mickey Mantle, or Jeff Gordon. Anyway, I'm just saying, it's like like Miss Hill said, he's just overrated. He's just a blowhard. You know, and I'm not a hater. I give credit where credit is due. But it's like all of this press he's getting, it's like, they made a movie out of him. I'm like, he's not all that. I'm sorry. I came out in the era, I was a big Bulls fan. That's it. To me, the Bulls were like that year, they were on fire. It was Michael, Scottie Pippen, um, Dennis Rodman. That was the team right there. You know, Paxton, you name it. That was the team. That was the team. When they started to dismantle the team, it was like it was never the same again. Wow, it's only basketball. It doesn't define his character as a man. Yes, it does, because he's a big crybaby. And I don't want to say the word, but the word that Lady G described him as. He's just a punk. Every time he doesn't win, he's always arguing with the ref. you know, King James, this, that, and the other, greatest. No, he's not the greatest basketball player of all time. It's Michael and it's Kobe. That's it. Michael Kobe. Michael Kobe. You know. Then there's Jabbar. And then there's uh, Wilt Chamberlain and Magic Johnson and you know those guys. Larry Bird. LeBron. He just. I'm sorry, Preston. I just don't. I don't get it. He's a good basketball player. He's not the greatest. You know. Plus, LeBron James, for says he loves children. That's a lie. Lady G said, "I agree with you. Michael Jordan was the best. LeBron was at O'Hare Airport. A 10-year old boy asking for his autograph in his Miami Heat jersey. The baby told LeBron he wanted to be in the NBA one day. LeBron told the baby to go lose some weight. LeBron chose not to sign his jersey." And that sounds like something he's done. Preston said he's been with the same black woman and is a family man. At least his kids know their father. I get it. That's fine. That's off the court. But on the court, he's a big cat. You know, what he does in private, that's cool. I'm glad. He's a good father. We should all be great fathers, you know. But he's just a big punk. Angela Bofield. And I'm on your side right here on Bedtime Stories. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. We're having a debate about LeBron James. I don't believe it. I don't believe we're having a debate about LeBron. You know, people keep saying he's just, he's so great. He's this and he's that. Um, Ms. Hill said LeBron was in O'Hare Airport. A 10-year-old boy asked him for an autograph. He had a Miami Heat jersey. The baby told LeBron he wanted to be in the NBA one day. LeBron told this baby to go lose some weight. LeBron chose not to sign his jersey. Go lose some weight. That's just not right. No. Preston said he's been with the same black woman and is a family man. At least his kids know their father. And I commend him for that. I commend him for everything he does off the court. But on the court, he's just a big punk. You know, for him to get all these accolades, it's like, okay, he beat Jabbar's record. Jabbar doesn't really want to have anything to do with him. Kareem is like, okay, he's all right. Preston said, I don't get the hate, but to each his own. I don't hate him as a person. I hate him as a player because every time he doesn't get a ring, he wants to switch teams. I get on this team because they're winning. It's like, finish your career at one team and be done with it. Stay with the Lakers. If you're doing well with the Lakers, stay with the Lakers. Lakers, Miami Heat, and here, I'm going back over here because they're winning over here. It's like, if you ain't winning, you ain't winning. That's it. But Preston, for the record, what he does off the court, I commend him for it. I love to see him in commercials. I love to see a man with his family. I saw Space Jam 2. It was like, he was all right. I like to see stuff like that. But when he's doing folks on the court and cussing the ref out, and that's not a good look. My thing is, you still have to remain humble. As long as you're black, you got to be humble. Otherwise, Barack wouldn't have lasted for 8 years like he did. Look at what happened to Trump. Here's the main ingredient before I get cut off. Like, I'm about to get cut off. There goes the camera. Boo! You know how the non-black folks are about Trump. So, I don't want to get cut off. LeBron's saying that he wants to remain with the NBA to wait for his son to make it to the NBA after graduating college. Oh, Michelle said, "Sir, sit your old ass down." And the thing is, as long as you are in shape to play, then continue to play. Continue to do what you do and do it well. I'm not black man, or anything else. It's just that I don't see that much of a greatness in him, and everybody else does. Oh, he's just so great. Oh, he's, you know. But I guess the thing is, when you compare him to Michael Jordan, there is no comparison. Now, Michael Jordan and Kobe, they're in the same category. You know, they're in the same. Had Kobe lived, there is no limit to what Kobe could have done in his career. There's no, there is no limit to what he could have done. Kobe was the best. You know, Michael's the greatest. Kobe was the best. But y'all giving this man too much credit, Preston. How many radio stations have you worked for? We all move around to advance our career. He's 38 years old. John Caldwell, what's going on? Yeah, I get it. But the reasons that I jumped around between radio stations because I kept getting fired. The last station I worked at before I worked for WVO, and I got fired. So that's it. So, but I understand. I get it. But they're just giving him just too much credit. Just too much. He gets too much press all the time. It's, LeBron. Okay, all right. I get it. I understand it. But I don't get the understanding that he's all that great. I've seen him play. Okay. But I think it's just his attitude. Open up your mouth so you can get your foot out first. Thank you, John. After the Bears won the Super Bowl in 1985 and the Bulls won the championship, I was done with sports. Well, I've never been a big sports fan. I will say that. But thank you, JC. But I've never been a big sports fan, but I've always been a Chicago fan. Like some people say, oh, I know it's going to be a great game on tonight. Why do we compare people? Stephanie compared to Beyonce to Diana. And we do that for a reason. We do that for a reason to label somebody. Like when Prince came out, he was called everything from Little Richard to James Brown to Jimi Hendrix, but he embodied all of them and became his own man. He came into his own, and he started wearing the makeup and getting his hair did, all of that stuff, that whole androgynous look when he, flipped it on Dirty Mind and then on Controversy when he started wearing the eyeliner. I get it, but that's what we do. Oh, he's going to be the next so and so. So we always compare somebody to somebody else all the time. But yeah, I get it, Preston. Like people look at Maxwell and they say, "Oh, that's just Marvin Gaye when he was younger." You know, um, Denise Williams. They said, "Oh, Mariah Carey's just doing Denise Williams and Minnie Riperton." Well, yeah, that somebody had to lay down the ground rules. Somebody had to lay down the blueprint. I don't believe I'm using that word, but the blueprint. James was the blueprint for everybody else to follow with the screaming and the hollering and the splitting and everything else. He was the blueprint for many artists. So there's always going to be a blueprint for someone to come along and to do as good or as well is the proper language or better than the person that did it originally. They keep saying he beat Jabbar's score. Well, Jabbar was the blueprint. I'm just saying. Somehow. The main ingredient featuring Mr. Donald McPherson. And I'm so proud. Right here on Bedtime Stories with the Peanut Butter Brother, Dr. Al Greer. The show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed, but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. We're still having a debate about LeBron. Preston loves LeBron. He thinks he's a great player, and I think he's a good player. It's not the greatest. If I had to say who the greatest players were of all time, it would have to be Kobe, of course, Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Will Chamberlain, all of those people that laid down the blueprint for others to follow, and that's all I'm saying, but they give LeBron all this press like he's just, like he's walking on King James. I'm like, oh no. Mm-mm. I don't get it. But anyway, so we were talking about who would be I can't even say it now, the blueprint for other artists. Of course, James Brown was like the blueprint. Little Richard was the blueprint for other artists to follow because Quiet as Kept, Otis Redding tried to sound like Little Richard, and he did. Jackie Wilson and James Brown were known for singing and doing the splits and everything else. So it was only natural for Prince and Michael Jackson and everybody else who came, after them to do those moves. So, everybody's the blueprint for something, Preston Shanks, the blueprint for rock, Little Richard, Chuck Berry, and Bo Diddley. Preston says, I think he's a good man. He's a great player in his own lane. And I get it. Alice Norris says Al Green was the blueprint. No, Al Green wasn't the blueprint. The blueprint was actually Sam Cooke. Yeah. So he took that and made his own. So, but anyway, we could go on and on about who's the greatest of whatever, basketball, R&B music, soul music. This guy got his chops from working with a guy by the name of James Brown. Here's William Earl Collins, Vanish in Our Sleep. Here's Bootsy. Jerry Lee Lewis invented rock and roll so Little Richard, Chuck Berry, and Bo Diddley could copy him. Yeah. That's just the other way around. It was Little Richard that did it. So, but okay, we'll follow your foolishness. Al said that James Brown and Sam Cooke were his influences. Yeah. I mean, for Al Green, he was listening to Jackie Wilson and Sam Cooke. Sam was his hero because Sam had gone from singing gospel to singing, R&B music. So, um, as a matter of fact, Al Green got kicked out of the house for listening to Jackie Wilson. He's like, "Oh, you listen to the devil's music." And of course, he made a whole career of doing soul music. And up until then, Al Green never got a Grammy. He never got a Grammy until he switched to gospel music. And the first Grammy he got was for the album Bell, which was the first gospel album that he did. I was like, really? He had never gotten a Grammy until he did the album Bell. And that was it. Troy and Pat Boone, learn your white history. Pat Boone. Pat Boone, boy, he was holding Little Richard's eyeliner for a long time. I want I got a gal named Sue. She knows just what to do. Got a gal named Sue. She knows what to do. She knows how to love me, yes indeed. Girl, you don't know what you're doing to me. Tutti frutti. Oh, like, hell no. Sit your pasty self down somewhere, Pat Boone. They all copied off of Pat Boone after he copied off of Jerry Lee Lewis. Yeah. Nobody copied off of Pat Boone. Mm-mm. Until them grits hit him. Oh, come on. Lady G, come on now. You had to bring up the grits, I tell you. Yep. He said the grits hit the fan. And he was like, oh, go back to gospel music. Well, Lord and I have been friends for a mighty long time. Yep. Them grits hit him. He said, oh, Lord. The Lord heard his cry. But he was able to do both. And successfully. I mean, these days, Stephanie Mills is doing gospel, but, when it comes down to artists, one of my favorites is Al Green, my almost namesake. If you change the N to an R, you got Al Greer. But, he was, or still is, he's got the most recognizable voice of all time. When you hear Pat Boone cross-dresser lingerie wear, okay. When you hear Al Green, it's Al Green. He has like three different voices. He's got that sweet tenor, now that y'all here with me, I want to keep you free. And then he goes up into the falsetto. Do the things you want to do. Joy in life is loving you. And then he had that growl, take me to the river. Da-da-da-da. A song that he'll never do in concert, never. Simply beautiful, I know, right? Yep, he still sounds good. He still sounds good. He left them drugs alone, boy. He left the drugs alone. But a few years ago they produced an album. What is his name? Questlove. and he tried to recreate everything that Al Green had done, you know, before, that whole sound that he had, and it was beautiful. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play that record too. Record? Did I say record? Stay with me, my dear. Wish I could take John Legend's voice off of that too. There's a uh, there's a guy that sounds like AG recorded before AG, but AG killed his career. The thing was with there was a guy who sounded exactly like Al Green, and his name was Kenny Dent, I think it was. Dent, like President. And the song was called Sugar. And this guy sounded just like Al Green. Then there was another one, Sidney Joe Quarles, may he rest in peace. He sounded like Al Green. He went around telling everybody he was Al Green's cousin, Sidney Joe Quarles from right here in Chicago. As a matter of fact, they did a song that, you know, sounded so much like Al Green. And I'm about to play it too. It's called How Do You Say Goodbye by Sidney Joe Quarles. But and Sidney used to sing in all the bars and everything else. He's like, all right, let's give it up for Al Green's cousin. No relation. Sidney Joe Quarles. And Sidney would come in there and he would just, he would tear it up. Everybody, you close your eyes, you swore up and down that, you were listening to Al Green. Unfortunately, he passed a few years ago. He was a drug addict, unfortunately. Water. Federal booty inspector. I know that's right. Preston, I'm glad you deleted those messages before Al got back. Ha 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 ha. Don't be an instigator. Mm-mm. Troy, the instigator. Mm-mm. Stop. Sugar. Belle Biv DeVoe, BBD. And when will I see you smile again? Right here on Bedtime Stories. The show designed with the designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. If you are not um, on our Facebook Live page or Twitch, you're missing an interesting conversation. We're gonna keep it going. Anyway, a few years ago, Al Green made what they call the comeback album. He's like he never left. The album was produced by Questlove and his partner from The Roots, and they tried as closely as possible to recreate Al Green's sound of the '70s. I think they did a pretty good job, minus John Legend's voice. Here's "Stay With Me" from the Reverend Al Green on Bedtime Stories. La la la, with me. I'm gonna leave this door open before I pass out. Mm-mm. Troy, you missed it when AG called you a daddy's girl. Yeah, that was yesterday. Yeah, him and Ronnie, they're daddy's girls. Yep. Woo.
How can you say still love you? Oh, yeah. How can you say goodbye to someone? Because there's always been alone. And I can never be alone. So, how can you say goodbye to someone who's been so good? Oh, yeah. How can you say someone that She said, why? Couldn't give a reason, but all those feelings how can you say why you believe the girl really love as much as you do? How can you say why someone everything nothing oh my oh don't wanna lose the girl, baby. Hold it back, baby. I'm gonna
No, that's not who you think it is. That is Sidney Joe Quarles. That's right. It's called How Can You Say Goodbye? Right here on Bedtime Stories. He was such a nice guy when he wasn't, you know, on that stuff. He was such a nice guy. And I miss him so much. That song came out on Dakar Records. It was done here in Chicago, but they had to, how can I put it? They had to dull it up so it would sound exactly like Al Green. It didn't sound like everything else that they made here in Chicago. You know, everything else on the Brunswick or Dakar label sounded like it was made in a big old studio. And well, that was made in a big studio too, but they had to dull it down a little bit so it would sound like the Memphis studio, the Royal down in Memphis. Anyway, it's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. We're about 9 minutes away from foreplay. I had to play this version of the song. There are several versions of this song. The one that we are familiar with has a 20-second intro. And this is what we missed on the intro. Here's Jimmy Ruffin, the original version of What Becomes of the Brokenhearted on Bedtime Stories. So walk this one, a broken dream. Yep, Sidney Joe Quarles. Sidney Joe Quarles. And that was his only hit. After that, yeah. He did one album, and that was it. There he is. Southern-born soul singer who was heavily influenced by Al Green. Signed to Dakar Records in the early 70s. Yep, look him up. Sidney Joe Quarles. Qualls. Sidney Joe. Um, yes, the albums are very rare because he only did one. Yep. and he was so good. He was such a performer. But he just couldn't stay clean. Yep, he was signed by Otis Lavelle. He landed a deal with the Dakar Brunswick label, and Otis believed that the label had signed the next Al Green due to similar vocal stylings of the singers. Yep. The album was recorded at Paragon Studios, and that was it. And yeah, Otis Lavelle, and like I said, they had to dull it down. In other words, they had to roll out some of the high end that became synonymous with Dakar and Brunswick records. So they were trying really hard to make it sound like, you know, a Al Green song on purpose. I mean, right down to the horn licks. Dun 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 dun. You know, they had to dull it down because, um, you know, all of Al Green's songs had a certain sound, and they were not the most well recorded songs. There was no high end, there was no attempt to make it sound better than it really was in the studio, and that was it. So, but somebody had the bright idea to brighten them up and to re-release them, which I thought was a big mistake because it changes everything. It changes the whole soul part of the song. Yeah, it changes the rawness. I have his stuff on Blue Rock. Blue Rock, of course, was a Chicago label. As a matter of fact, the Shawlights recorded on Blue Rock at first. Yeah. Yep. And he just couldn't keep it together. He was a great talent. You know, but he was limited because he would go to clubs and he would sing, with the club bands, and that was it. He couldn't get a record deal because that whole Al Green sound had played out. So that was it. Once that played out, it was like, well, we have no need for an Al Green sound alike. And that was it. Yeah, Lavelle was more than just Love Uprising and I Love You. And, you know, he was second in command under Carl Davis at Brunswick. Yeah, yeah, pretty much so. Yeah. A taste of honey, and I'll try something new. Originally done by Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. Right here on Bedtime Stories with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. And as always, we are brought to you in parts by our good friends over at Grubhub. But before we do that, don't forget, Juneteenth, June 17th, will be right next door to the Regal Theater. We're actually in the parking lot of the Regal Theater. Starting at noon, we'll be broadcasting live, the whole thing. So come on down and check us out at the Avalon Regal Theater on Saturday, June 17th. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Grubhub is a proud sponsor of Bedtime Stories here on WOSD Radio DV Chicago, WDLV Indianapolis and Chicago. And of course, WRLNradio.com, which we're broadcasting on right now. Simultaneously, it's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. It is time for foreplay. This gentleman was born 65 years ago. He made his transition way too early. And he was just the consummate performer. He was born to perform. He absolutely was born to perform. And, you know, I've seen him several times here in Chicago. I got a chance to go to his house. I went to Paisley Park the year that he turned 40. And it was the most beautiful experience of all time. It was magnificent. Paisley Park, I look forward to going back. It won't be the same without him being there, but I tell you, one of the greatest of all times. Happy heavenly birthday to Prince Rogers Nelson. Oh, no. When two are in love, are in love. Yo, Mr. Redmond. So if you're Redmond, I'm Method Man. Get it? Method Man? Redmond? Method Man. Anyway, never mind. It's not funny. The 17th, I need you, if you're not working, at the Regal Theater. You know, where we used to be over on 79th Street, you know, the night we got locked in. Yeah, that place, yeah. So, yeah, if you can make it, please do. June 17th, noon until they kick us out of the parking lot. Yeah. For their Juneteenth celebration. Woo, QB. Redmond, Method Man. Anyway. You got to excuse me. I didn't have a nap this evening, so I was watching Bruce Almighty again. I can come before work. Okay, cool. You can help me set up the equipment. Yeah, right. You can't lift nothing. Mm-mm. Yeah, but seriously, you can help me with the equipment. Help me set up and stuff. That means I have to go get the other equipment over at the restaurant. I still got equipment at the New Look restaurant that I, left there. So got to be at work at 2. Well, come by and say hi. Wink your eye. I mean, it is your time slot from 12 to 3. So yeah, wave at all your fans. Oh, no. Yeah, you'll be the first one there. Probably the only one there. I don't think anybody wants to go back to 79th Street after what we went through. But but he already put down some money for us to be there. So I guess I gotta at least set up the equipment, right? Yeah. I heard they're building a new facility and sound studio to replace the Regal. Yes. I'm not supposed to divulge that information. But yep. Um, as a matter of fact, he's thinking about buying um, the old Leon's, which was across the street from the Regals. He's going to get that as well. So yeah, it's going to be um, something where kids can learn how to do recording, that whole thing. So yeah. Grubhub, the driver had my fries open from Wingstop eating out of the box. What? Oh, hell no. Oh, wow. That's not good. Eating your food out the box. Oh, no. I'm sorry for laughing, but that sounds like some like a sketch comedy thing. It's like, oh, ma'am, here are the rest of your fries. The rest of them? What do you mean the rest of them? Like, where are they? They're going to level all that Leon's and the liquor store for parking. Um, no comment. I can't say. Yeah, I can't say. I can't say this. I've seen the blueprints of what's supposed to go down. So what's supposed to go down, come down, be torn down. I saw that. Yeah. Russell Baker, what's going on? Shake and bake. Shake and bake. Kicked, kicked home down the steps. He was very angry. His words were, "Dang, y'all black women are too hard on a black man. It's just chicken and fries. That's why I don't fool with black women now." So he ate your food and tried to justify it? Okay. Okay. I heard Albert asked Louise Beavers to his prom, but she rejected him because he was only 12 years old. Thank you, Troy. Yeah, and that's just it. He ate your food, and of course,
This is Miss Delicious, and you're listening to my Big Daddy, Al Greer, with Bedtime Stories.
he gonna blame you, right? You never should have ordered fries with that chicken. Yeah, shame on you. She kicked him down the steps. Thank you. As well, she should have. Yes. Mm-mm-mm. I know, right? These stories, right, Preston? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Call the home office, ask for a refund. You should get it. Mm-mm. DoorDash. Oh, DoorDash too. Yeah. When you tell me. Uber Eats, Harold on 102nd. On point most of the time. Well, that's good. That's a good thing. Hmm. Hey, Phyllis. Uber Eats is okay so far. You said so far, yeah. And get 15% off majority of the time. Hello, Phyllis. Hello, Phyllis. Happy Prince Day. Hey, Elo. You missed it. I just played our song. Call my name. Heard a voice this morning calling out my name. Wouldn't that be something, Al? Somebody calling my name? Ken said because I complain most of the time, they give me discounts. That's one way to get it. Yeah. Uh-oh. Warner gonna get me for that, boy. Warner Brothers don't play. We heard exactly 10 seconds of I Hate You by Prince. Everybody's playing Prince today. Even some of the radio stations are playing it. Hey, he would have been 65 today. Here's Prince on the whatever, on the mix. All of them sound like they're holding their throats, like, and on the mix. Except for Dave Hilton. He's got like that rich voice. He sounds like a brother. You know, I met him one time. I was at the John Hancock building. I'll never forget, I was working for 103.5, The Beat. He said, hey, I'm Dave Hilton. I said, you sure are. Oh my God. I turned into a fan, like, man, I like your voice, man. It's like, I'll be trying to imitate you sometime. And that naturally deep, announcery voice. He did. It was great. What you said, go easy, dog. Elo.
That's right. Keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars.
Imagine if Prince could have sung as well as Tom Jones, played guitar as well as Eric Clapton, wrote songs, and didn't dress like a woman. He would have been worth listening to. They're funny. They're funny, sir. They're funny. Mm-mm-mm. That's a deep song. I hate you because I love you, and I love you because I hate you. Wrapping up foreplay with Prince Rogers Nelson on his birthday. He would have been 65 today. What would a 65-year-old Prince look like? Probably what a 50-year-old Prince look like. That's about it. His his hair looked like cotton candy. I guess because he had permed it for so long. It was different back in the day when he came out and he had the fro, right? But then he let it frizz up and everything else, and tried to go back to the fro. And it looked like he wanted to eat his hair. It looked like cotton candy at that point. Anyway, it's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Troy said, imagine if Prince could have sung as well as Tom Jones, played guitar as well as Eric Clapton, and wrote good songs and didn't dress like a woman. He could have been worth listening to. In an interview once, when asked, Eric Clapton, they asked him, so how does it feel to be the greatest guitar player of all time? This is what Eric said. He said, you have to ask Prince. Andre and Prince share a birthday today. Hey, 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 hey. That's what's up. I keep your picture. Did anybody see the story where an Uber Eats guy tried to shake down a Chicago attorney for additional cash app advance, supposedly for gas, saying he was stuck on the highway unless he gave up his PIN number? Anyway, that's the biggest load of horse crap I've ever heard. Nope, but it was true. In an interview, the guy asked Eric Clapton, how does it feel to be the greatest guitar player of all time? Eric replied, you'd have to ask Prince. So, sorry. So sorry. How come you don't call me happy birthday? course, Troy doesn't, doesn't believe that. That's too bad, though. It's the absolute truth. Eric Clapton put some respect on Prince's name. Respect to him. Baby, baby, baby. Baby, baby. Mm-hmm. 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 Oh, baby, 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 baby. Mm-mm-mm. I remember the year that movie came out. I had to go see it several times because, at that time I was a player. So I had to pretend like each time I saw the movie, there was always for the first time. It's like, okay. And I had to say in my head and not out loud, oh, this is my part. Oh, here it comes. Oh man. Anyway, the beautiful ones from the Purple Rain soundtrack, Prince and the Revolution. Ladies and gentlemen, the time. That MC didn't have too much personality, didn't he? Like, ladies and gentlemen, the revolution. He didn't like warm up the crowd or anything. It was like, ladies and gentlemen, the modern eras. It's like, come on, man, hype it up, man. Do some Steve Harvey. Put your hands together and show your love for, this, ladies and gentlemen, the time. Okay. Anyway, once again, happy heavenly birthday to Prince Rogers Nelson. Here's Heaven and Earth from right here in Chicago. And guess who's back in town? The Revolution. Been away, I've been gone so long. We shall this come. You see, I was so concerned. Should I be? Good to know. A suburban man was charged with beating his girlfriend to death and fleeing police over the weekend in Joliet. They tried to pull him over, but he fled. He struck an empty parked vehicle, got out of the car, and ran to the Des Plaines River. That's crazy. Got to go to the ladies' room? Okay. Okay. Like I always used to say, leave the door open. Yep. Just leave the door open. No need to close it. What'd you say, coward? Guess who? Guess who's back in the town? Excuse me, miss. What's your name? If the world could go astray, maybe one more again, baby. You know that you're still around. Gemini, for all you Geminis out there, yeah. So I was DJing on Sunday. This guy comes up to me and tells me it's his birthday. Yeah, Geminis, yeah. I'm like, how's that working out for you? I said, Capricorn start the year and we end the year. He was like, oh, well, yeah, you got me there. Huh? Yeah, sit down and bring me back a beer. It's like, don't give me that crap about Geminis and all that. Yeah, you Geminis is two of them. You know, normally is. You know, it's a good one and a bad one. With Capricorns, you know what you're getting. We're always bad. we're just we're just awful. We did the awfulest. This is, you know. Mm-mm. Yeah, we are the most awful of all the signs. We're just awful. Trish said Geminis are cool. That's because you're a Gemini. You don't know any better. You think that all Geminis are cool because you're a Gemini. But that's okay. Geminis are, you know. As a matter of fact, one of my baby mamas is a Gemini, which is probably why I did not marry her. She was She was she was not yeah, yeah. Yeah, Capricorns always get a bad rap. Yeah, we always get a bad rap. But Trish, I'll welcome first of all. Everybody say hi to Trish. She's new to our Facebook Live. Although she's been on Facebook for let's see, how long has she been on Facebook? For exactly an hour now. But anyway, no, just kidding. Um, she's a rising creator. Okay. Kaleidoscope dream. Paris. Every time I see a pretty lady. Pretty lady. Of course, I'm stalking your page right now, Trish, so don't mind me. Oh, I got a picture with what's her name? Ooh, I love the nails. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I mean, every time I see. Yeah, I love the nails there, Trish. Those are nice. Those are nice. Yeah, you gotta excuse me. I'm a freak for nails, long nails. Yes, and you keep your nails up. That's a plus right there. I tell you, yeah. And they're all different colors and stuff. Let me stop. I'm losing my mind here. Yeah. Or have lost it years ago. Every time. You're welcome. Love the nails. Cut them. Oh no. Oh no. No anime. Don't cut the nail now. Oh no. Don't do that. No. Mm-mm. Cut them since I broke one. You broke one and you gonna cut them all off? Don't do that, baby. Don't do that. Don't do that. You put another one on till it grow back. You put a phony one on, and then then you take it back off. No, don't, no, don't do that. I love the nails. Keep the nails. Oh, I met that guy once. His name is Gemini. I don't know if that's his real name because I knew another guy who went by Gemini. His real name was Edgar. So, but of course he was a Gemini, so that's cool. Every time I see a pretty lady, especially a pretty lady with long nails, yeah, baby. Anyway, yeah, feel good in my back. Scratching my back. Yeah, right. Anyway, hello to Trish Cold Wilson, who's on our Facebook Live right now. Thank you so much. Um, Troy said, "Hi, Trish. I'm Troy, and by far have the best taste in music here." Yes, everyone say hi to Trish, who's in the Facebook chat room right now. Yeah, go right ahead. Help yourselves. Everybody say hi. Yeah, I was checking out her Facebook page, right? I always go to the pictures first before I even send out a friend request. I'm like, okay, all right. Let me look. Let me see what she looks like. Oh, okay, all right, nice nails. So I like those. Yeah. She said she broke one. She was gonna cut them all off. I'm like, oh, don't do that. No, for one nail, just replace that one. Put a phony one on there, and then let it grow back, and then that's it. But yeah, I'm man. I am probably the only man that goes get my nails done every 2 weeks, and I'm about due because one of mine is breaking too, but I ain't gonna cut them off. Oh no, just cut them down maybe. One of those metrosexuals. That's right. Yeah, I don't bite them off. I just it looks a lot better when they're manicured, and women look at that stuff too. Here's Johnny Gill. Johnny Gill. Yeah, don't cut them. No, 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 no. Don't cut the nails. No, no. So, I sound like Chris Tucker doing Michael Jackson. He took, you know, Michael Jackson took him to Barry Gibb's house and they were singing. And Chris started singing. Michael was like, no, 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 Chris, no, Chris. Go Go wait in the car. It's like, uh-huh. Yeah, I've always loved nails. What are you talking about? Yeah, really. There's something about a woman with long nails. It just looks so good on their hands. It just looks so sexy. You know. Especially when, they keep them up and they go every 2 weeks and that whole thing. It just looks so good. And when they paint it and stuff, it just looks so good. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I broke one of mine and I cut the rest of them off. Well, that's what y'all do. You break one, it's like, oh, cut them all off, start all over again. They're going to break. Trust me, I got a thumbnail right now that's got a crack in it. And I'm trying to wait until Saturday so I can go and, so they'll be fresh for Juneteenth. Now, the nail shop, the ladies at the nail shop, they always want to round my nails. I'm like, they don't grow round. My fingers, my nails don't grow round. They're like flat at the top. So they try to round them off. I'm like, no, I don't want them round. That's some gay stuff. I don't I don't want my nails round. I want them the way they grow. Square. Don't try to round them. Don't do that. No, don't do that. No. Stop trying to round my nails. You know, I want them to grow the way they grow. That's it. You know, and my poor daughter, she has my hands. So hers they just grow like that. They just, you know, her poor little hands, they look just like mine. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, baby. She doesn't seem to mind though. It's like her nails don't break. She doesn't do anything to them. They just grow like that. And she just leaves them. They just grow perfectly. I'm like, ugh. You got your daddy's hands and feet. Thank God, because your mother's feet, oh. Ah. Well, you love this lady who got super long nails. No, I'm not for the super long ones. Just long enough, but not Barry White's wife. No, Glodine, hers like curl up and everything else. I'm like, how do you wipe your anyway with those nails? It's like, ooh, slip up and cut yourself or something. You know. And she called one of the kids, "Hey, come wipe your mama's." Hoo-ha. No, I don't like them really long. I just like them, about yay long. You know, but not like super long, like like Glodine. It's like, dang, end up cutting a brother. Oh, I'm sorry, baby. Did I cut you? Yeah, I'm bleeding profusely from your nails, and I'm pretty sure it will set up infection. But no, I like them long. I do. I've always loved long nails. My mother had long nails, and she would sit up and polish. She would never go to the manicurist. Her nails and her feet, she had no corns, no nothing. She had some rough feet because she liked to walk around barefoot. That's that country in her. So but and she wore heels, but her feet were never down, 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 no hammer time going on. So, and I guess that's where it came from, me liking women with, you know, pretty feet and hands. I'm like, I remember buying a ring for my mother. I wanted to give her a ring. And I went to this place. They said, "What size does she wear?" I said, "I don't know." Come to find out, you know, all I had to do was put one of the rings on one of my fingers, and that would be for her ring finger. So yeah, so that was it. So, but I want to buy my mommy a ring. You know, I couldn't get her to leave dad for nothing. Here, I'll marry you, mom. Boy, go somewhere and sit down. Anyway, okay. Anyway, but anyway. Mm-mm. I know, right? How did she go to the bathroom with those nails? It's like, like talk about fingernails on a chalkboard, fingernails on a commode. Like, ew, like, ow. You ever slip up and stab yourself or something? Stick yourself. Oh, no. Like, stick yourself. Ooh, excuse me. Yep, it's almost that time. It's almost bedtime. Mm-mm. Yep, that looked like that would be very uncomfortable. Long toenails. Oh no, 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 no anime. No, not the toenails. There's this lady I go to church with, and she had the press looked like they had she had press on toenails. I was like, when they're naturally yours, you learn to manage daily tasks. I see. Okay. I like that. Yeah. Hmm. My, good tonight. My, you sure look good tonight. Johnny Gill. A little help from Babyface. My, you sure look good tonight. Sure look good. That's going to do it for me, Al Greer. Thank you so much for staying up with me. This is actually my Friday, which means I won't get to talk to you until next week. But enjoy a best of tomorrow right here on these fine radio stations. Thank you to Lady G, also to John Caldwell. Did I forget anybody? Oh, I forgot a whole bunch of people. I got time to do it too. To Ronnie, D. Marie Turner Sanders, Lawana Trailer, Miss Hill, Alice Norris, Preston Shanks, Hazel Honey Greer, what's up, cuz? Fahim Manure, and Charlotte Fairley. And of course, our new listener and or Facebook Live watcher, to Trish Cole Wilson. All right, cold. Hopefully you're not cold, but that's okay. If you are, I could always warm you up. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you guys. If you want to hear more Dusties, go over to WVON on the iHeartRadio app and check out the B-sides on 1690 WVON. Until next time, blue skies, green lights, and peace. Pew, 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 pew. And I thank you very much. And good night to you all. And to you, Trish, thank you so much for being on our live. Hopefully, this won't be your last time. Hopefully, be part of our little family here on Facebook Live. All right, all right. And since you are on Facebook, Preston, thank you so much as always. Yeah, send me a picture of your nails. Yes, yeah, sure.